your glutes with these 3 exercises. That's 2, Brittany.
2 + 2 is 4, -1, that's 3, quick maths.
Growing your glutes with these 3 exercises. You guys, honestly, it just goes back to the basics. Keep it simple, stay consistent, stay persistent, trust the process, trust the training, be on point with your diet. Well, I mean, you know, you can still enjoy things like pizza and ice cream on occasion, but for the most part, you need to make sure that you're utilizing those nutrients properly. That being said, remember that this takes time, you guys. Like, I see so many girls doing 2 to 3 glute exercises and then they're complaining like, oh, it's not working, this process is not working, after following through with that for a matter of like 1 or 2 weeks. I wish that growing glutes could happen that quickly. I wish that growing glutes could happen in a matter of like 2 months. And if that was the case, then we would all be walking around looking like Kim K. Although don't get me started, because I'm 99% sure she did not do deadlifts or hip thrusts or anything of that matter for her glutes. These things take time, you guys, and I hope that you're not watching this video because, you know, you've got a fancy event and you're wearing a cute dress too this weekend and you're like, all right, I need glutes by Saturday. I hope that's not why you're here, because I'm gonna burst your bubble and say that's not possible. Disclaimer, if you're trying to gain size of any shape or form in your glutes or in your legs, you're going to need to make sure that you are consuming the adequate amount of calories, whether you're in a caloric surplus, you're at maintenance macros, or just slightly above maintenance macros. You need to be making sure you are eating enough. Consuming an adequate amount of calories is going just to make sure that you are maintaining lean muscle and you're not compromising it during training or throughout the day. Carbohydrates are important. Fats are important. Protein is important. You guys need to make sure that you are utilizing all 3 of those nutrients and not just 2 of them and skipping out on the other. You know, for some reason, girls are terrified of carbs and terrified of fats, and that fats are gonna make you fat. And I've touched on this. I've talked about this before. That is not the case. I have discussed this before, but in this video, one of the 3 exercises is not going to be squats. Now, if you've watched my other videos, you know that I'm built long and lean, and squats just do not flatter my glutes in that sense. So basically, when I squat, my quads tend to overpower everything. My quads take over, and it becomes a very quad dominant focused movement for me. Because of that, I do squats, but I don't do them in a way to activate my glutes. My glute activation rate is typically lower with squats, and that's okay. Not everyone is built properly to do squats. Some people have super long femurs like me. Some people have super short femurs, and they're usually the ones that can like develop crazy insane glutes with squats. Does this mean that I completely eliminate squats from the picture, from my training? Absolutely not, you guys. I incorporate squats twice weekly into my training. You guys just don't see me doing them, you know, in my videos for glutes or on my Instagram for glutes, because they are very quad dominant for me, and that's okay. Squats are an incredible compound lift. They are incredible for performance and endurance and everything under the sun, but they don't do glute activation for me, and so they should be incorporated into any training regimen, but they might not be the sole focus for you either. I'm going to touch briefly on the 3 lifts that have truly helped me with glute activation. They have helped me develop my glutes, and just really overall my personal preferences when it comes to, yo, I want a glute pump. The very first one is deadlifts. Now, if you've been into lifting for a while, you probably know how effective these are. Not only are they engaging your glutes, they're engaging your hamstrings, and they're also a compound lift, so that means they're engaging everything else under the sun, you guys. Your lower back, your core, a little bit of everything. There are 2 variations to this lift. You can do the stiff-legged deadlift, which is where you are going to slightly straighten your legs out. You don't want to lock your knees ever. Do not ever do that. You want a slight bend at the knees, but you are going to activate your hamstrings and you're going to activate your glutes in this. So you're really going to feel it working, that glute ham tie-in. The second one is the sumo deadlift. Now, this is my favorite, you guys. I love this one. I have long legs, I have long arms, so personally, when it comes to deadlift setup preference, the sumo is my go-to. Some people pull conventional, some people pull sumo. I kind of have always strayed to the sumo side. They might feel a little bit awkward when you first start doing them until you get your form down. But the best tip of advice that I can give you personally is if you are trying sumo deadlifts for the first time, Use a lighter weight. Make sure your form is in check, because personally, I have pulled my back doing these before. It is a really not fun feeling. I literally got carried off the floor by 2 trainers because I couldn't stand up. That's how bad it was. So make sure, make sure that your form is on point before you try to start increasing your weight, going for heavier weight and less reps. Hi, Nico. The second lift that has truly changed the way I view glutes and glute strength is the barbell hip thrust and the glute bridge. Now, these are 2 totally different things, and I feel like a lot of people think they are the same. They're the same basic movement, but they're performed and you set up a little bit differently. So with the barbell hip thrust, you're actually going to set up either on a bench or a barbell hip thrust setup like my current gym has, which I'm so thankful for, you guys. It is truly a game changer. Whereas with the glute bridge, you are actually going to set up on the ground and you're just going to basically lay under the barbell and hip thrust up towards the ceiling. So this one might be a little easier for some people to set up, whereas the bench, you know, it might take a little while to get your form down. And if you are struggling with your form, you can actually just do body weight. Set your body up in the same position on a bench with your shoulders on the bench. Do it with body weight until you get that form down solid, and then you can start adding in weight slowly. And my third go-to exercise, you guys, is the lunge. Now, I feel like everyone has a love-hate relationship with lunges because you can't just do 5 or 6 of them. You typically do like 20 to 30 of them at a time. I always do these weighted. Unless I'm doing like switch jump lunges, which that's a different story. That goes into like plyometric field. But the 3 variations that I'm going to show you in these clips are the curtsy lunge, the stationary lunge, and the basic compound walking lunge. I typically perform 20 to 30 reps total on these. So that would mean it's either 10 to 15 reps on each leg, and I would do 3 to 4 sets. With the curtsy lunge, I personally love these because you can keep your glute activated the entire time. It is a unilateral movement, so that means you're doing 1 leg at a time. Same thing goes hand in hand with the stationary lunge. It is unilateral, you're doing 1 leg at a time, and you can really truly keep that glute activated through the entire rep set, which for the stationary lunge and for the curtsy lunge, I typically do anywhere from 12 to 15 on each leg. Keep in mind that every single exercise that you guys are doing in this video is weighted. I always use weight. Try to implement progressive overloading, and that is basically a concept where you're going to slowly add in weight every time you lift. For example, if you did hip thrust last week and you used 135 for 12 to 15 reps, it was starting to feel kind of easy. Nico is literally rolling a dog bowl. The next week, you're actually going to increase your weight to 150 pounds, 155 pounds, but you're going to decrease your reps. You're going to drop down anywhere from 6 to 8 or 8 to 10. This is a concept that anyone should be implementing into their training program, regardless of your goals. I hope that this video helped you guys out. If you guys like these kinds of videos, make sure to give this one a thumbs up. It helps me know what you want to see. As always, thank you so much for stopping in on my channel, and I will see you guys in the next vlog. Bye!